What's going on, everybody? Welcome into ONTrack Weekly. Cam K here with you on this night before Canada Day. So thank you, Canada, for being a part of my life. I'm loving it here, always have, and always will. It's no other place I'd rather live, frankly. And no, I'd rather live, right next to a racetrack. That would be really nice, actually. Still stay in Canada, but right next to a racetrack would be great. Thanks for tuning in tonight. You see right now by the prompt on the screen, we've got Justin Collison is going to join us first tonight at 8:40 for the some talk about the Steel City Superstock Series that is out at Flamborough Speedway this year that he has been campaigning and spearheading. Already two races down. Lane Zardo has taken them both. So we hear from him. Rachel Mitchell from MRC Racing got her very first Pure Stock feature victory at Flamborough this past weekend. She'll be on to join with us, as well as Leo LaBarbera, one of the long stays in the Pure Stock Division 4 champion out at Flamborough. He's going to join us at 9 o'clock tonight. And then Jacob Sutcliffe, winner from the mini stock race and last year's champion at Sunset Speedway. He'll join us at 9:10. So this past weekend obviously was a great weekend for myself. Got to go out and be at Peterborough Speedway with my dad and love that place. Aside from getting eaten alive, I do have my opinions and I have put it out there just a little bit. I think one of the things that's holding them back is probably that they have really bad bugs past a certain period of time in the night. And I think they could benefit from a little bit of that bumping up if it's possible. Obviously not always possible at the racetracks, but I know there's a lot of people that would hope that that's something that can happen. I'm also going to put it out there that we did get Calvin Reeser did actually put out there that he was interested in having Q&A start the show. So we had a couple Q&A questions that we have posted. There's not much, but we don't need much because this is a short segment before we bring on Justin. And so one of the questions that we had two questions. One was from Ash, and one was Ash McMartin, and one was from Calvin Reeser. So we'll start off with Calvin's question, because again, I do think it's important that when we do get people that want something talked about, that we can. And shoot the breeze, right? So the first question is: should all tracks run the same invitational rule package, or allow tracks to make their own decisions? When it comes to invitationals, I'm of the belief, and it's the same thing that I think with division rules, that all tracks need to be the same. In this day and age, you need to get as many cars as you possibly can. On off weekends, you're just limiting yourself if you're not able to get cars because they won't make the changes. If you're all on the same universal package, you're not going to have that problem. People can go wherever they want because they know they're all going to be teched the exact same way. Same rules package applies every time you go to an invitational. I think the way that, it would be hell to put together. I'm not going to lie. I mean, this is an insurmountable task, but is it something that would benefit the racing significantly? Absolutely, I think it would. Whether or not that's going to ever happen, unfortunately, I think it's a little far-fetched. You can't even get divisions that run the same types of cars to agree on the rules. Hell, within racing series themselves, you have people that don't agree on the same rules that they currently have. There's a lot that goes into that decision. I'm not a tech person, so I'm not a person that can shed any light on it. I'm just talking about from the outside what I hear, and a lot of racers like to talk to me and vent and tell me all the issues that they have. So whose invitationals do we use? I think Pete and Saubles are the same. I think Sunset's the odd one out. Well, in reality, Calvin, it sounds a little bit stupid, but like a racing council would kind of be neat. The way I would think about it is that you need to have somebody that's going to be able to come up with a universal rule package that is unbiased. And that's probably virtually impossible to find right now because everybody comes in with their own biases. However, if you get enough experienced people that can come together, form some sort of a, like I said, a committee. I know it sounds a little bit far-fetched, but ultimately that's what you need is a universal package. If you're going to have it across the tracks, it needs to be come together, and you have to have representatives from every single track come and be a part of it. And do we actually think that everybody's going to be able to agree with one another? Unfortunately, I don't. Would it be amazing? Yeah, because all of a sudden now you're not limiting people to one track because they don't have limited rules. Will everybody decide to go to a different track because it's opened up? Hard to say. Asher McMartin had a question as well. This one I love the answer to. Or where is it? Yeah, this one I absolutely agree with. And I've actually brought it up before. That she asks if there should be a minimum speed requirement, um, like a minimum lap time protocol for new and rookie drivers. 1,000%. And if we're not doing that right now, we're putting people in danger because there are some uh, there are some guys who are so damn slow to start their career, and it's dangerous. Um, it's not the fault of the driver. They're learning themselves. They don't have a ton of time to get there. However, in each division, it should be said because you're getting guys that are showing up buying cars that they don't have any experience with, and or some of them don't even have racing experience at all, and then automatically being thrust into a heat race or a feature. I think it needs to be you can run heat races first. If you meet that lap requirement, just like what Peterborough did for the junior late models last year, if you meet that speed requirement, the minimum speed, then yes, you can participate full of the time. But if you are not able to reach that level, if you're racing out there and you're scared, if you're racing out there and you're too slow, the absolute worst case scenario is you're going to get somebody that is going to get really hurt because they rear-ended somebody, or somebody was rear-ended because they were so slow and in the way, not sure how to do it. Racecraft, as we've been told, is a learned skill. You can't just get it right away. Some do, which is great, but not everybody can. However, there are some divisions where you need to do it. I think there was a couple divisions last week that we saw this where their cars were way too slow, and there could have been some serious accidents and serious injuries if people were not more vigilant. Thankfully, we didn't have those, but it is entirely possible that we're going to have a situation where somebody gets run into. We saw it. It was a mechanical situation at Sunset. It wasn't due to speed, but when somebody is slow and off the pace, bad things can happen. I think for the most part, tracks are pretty good at ensuring if somebody's pace is really bad that they get off the track. But there is a complete and utter responsibility on the people that are racing to say, hey, this person's they're not comfortable out there, or they're too slow, or this and that. And the tracks need to listen. The tech officials need to listen. The race officials need to listen, because at the end of the day, is it a matter of getting somebody off the track because you don't want them there? No, it's a matter of safety. So yes, I like the idea of a minimum speed, especially when you get to those divisions that are, say, a touring division like the midgets or the OSS, guys that are coming in there that maybe don't have any racing experience previously but are now racing these really, really fast cars. Don't think it's a good idea that they should be coming out there and just participating in a feature without that long-term experience, that racing craft that we've talked about. Starting at the back is one thing, but also having a credible lap time, something that is absolutely attainable. Sure, you kind of think of it as a breakout time that Delaware does, where you can't go over a certain limit. Well, they have to reach that limit. That's where they need to go for this. But we're going to get from our Q&A, bring on Justin Collison. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, the Superstocks were not a part of Flamborough Speedway in the past couple of years. Why? Well, unfortunately, they lost a lot of cars and they weren't getting the attendance that they needed to stay on the regular weekly events. Now, here came along Justin Collison, who made it his mission to ensure that this division could come back and participate, mainly the week to weeks, and of course for Frostoberfest. So we're going to bring on Justin Collison, who has really done a phenomenal job with this program. bringing it together, and now seeing it succeed. He has now had 2 race events. I'm sure he would have preferred that he was the one that won both of them, not Lane Zardo. But Justin, thank you for joining me. I know you put so much effort into this, and now it's happening. How have things been going with your Steel City super stocks? It looks like you've got a solid count for the first 2 events.
Yeah, you got a copy?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, it obviously everybody wants more cars, but the first 2 races were still a solid showing. All fast cars. Yeah, like I kind of agree with you. I would have liked to won, obviously both of them, but beggars can't be choosers, and I'm kind of wearing 2 suits this year, so as much as I am a racer, it's still good to see cars supporting the show, and Lane's won 2 of them now, back to back. So we'll see how Saturday goes this week because it's double features. It might change the things a little bit, but
So I want for our audience that's tuning in tonight, why is it that this was so important to you, Justin? Because it had been, I believe it was 1 or 2 years that the super stocks were not on the card at all at Flamborough. They were gone. Why did you make this your mission to bring them back?
well, you know, being truthfully honest with you, like I grew up watching the Thunder cars at Flamborough as a kid. My dad ran in it. Randy Russell, like all the kind of somewhat retired guys. I'm not saying retired because I know some of them talk about coming back out of retirement to race, but it's always been great racing for the cars. Unfortunately, just the support fell off a couple years back, and it's one of those things, and it needed a bit of attention. I think as far as how to organize the series better, obviously shorten the schedule up so guys can commit to it. And like, let's face it, the last, well, other than the first race, I think with the 2 wrecks, it's always been good super stock racing at Flamborough, side by side battles. Like, it's always been great racing, and I just want to bring that back to Flamborough. Trying to make Flamborough great again. I guess that's the best way to put it as a motto.
Yeah, we don't need any of Trumpisms here, but what we will say is that I will say that that is a goal. I mean, there's no debating Flamborough they've had a really tough couple years. It has been very tough to see the empty stands and
Yeah.
to see cars not showing up. The racing there is phenomenal. It always has been really, really good. You've got a really solid group behind you in this division. Obviously, those names that you talked about, Randy Russell, might not be coming out and racing and might not be seeing old Brad Collison, although I wouldn't mind seeing him come out once or twice, see if he could do it. But um, the tough thing is a lot of racers won't do that. They won't jump out of the seat to try and put in this work. I want to know how much effort this took from you because basically it feels like it was almost a year and a bit that you've been trying to put this together.
Yeah. I mean, Frostfest, I guess, kind of was the biggest uh, first time I kind of really organized that event, and it was a huge success. I know that's a little bit, I think, why John does trust me a bit more to kind of, like, let's face it, this week he's up the purse. That was a huge
Huge.
step in the right direction for the series. Honestly, even for super stock racing in general on a weekly
Yeah.
level, I kind of been looking at some of the other track payoffs, and you can't. John's got the best payout going right now, I think, for the weekly shows. And even the points one is pretty good, solid. But it's taken a lot. It's not easy organizing events. Well, obviously, it's even organized. I'm sure, like the podcast stuff you guys are doing. Like, it's not easy getting everything orchestrated properly to click and work smoothly. So yeah, it was definitely. It's been a learning curve, I guess, the first 3 months. It's kind of smoothed out now. Obviously, season started. I've got most things finalized, other than some few announcements that are going to be coming here pretty soon. But it takes a lot. It kind of almost took away from working on the race car a little bit sometimes, because you want to put a good show on for everybody, get cars there, right? So
Promotion is one of the hardest things to do in motorsports. It's trying to get that new viewer, trying to get new people to come in and support it. I do have a question that has been asked by Wade Watson. If there is any super stocks for rent for the Steel City Rumble Series, do you know of any cars that are available?
Uh, I personally I got two cars. One is one for sure can kind of be a rental option, but like there's cars like all across the province. I'd say we got about 80, well, 60 super stocks, and we're not seeing 60 on the racetrack every week. So there's definitely cars sitting around, and there's definitely doors to knock on. But we reach out to me, Wade. We can talk.
There you go, Wade. You can definitely get it out there. And you know what? I think Sean Gay points out. He says, "I just started going to Flamborough a few years ago. Been there 3 times this year, and the racing is fantastic. And we can't go wrong. I mean, I wanted to really make this a Flamborough heavy show because I feel again the attention that you're putting into this division needs to be recognized. I know you, with the help of Mike Schmidt last year, you guys had a really good turnout for Frost Overfest. That's kind of the big event. We know, like you said, there are cars out there. I know a lot of it is, it's cost. Absolutely, it's cost. But the more and more people you
Yeah,
get out there, the more and more we can actually work together. You have people now that are committed. You have people in media that, I'm not going to say like stickers and scuffs, but like stickers and scuffs will promote whatever we can, right? I mean, we don't have the budget, but if we can promote it, we're going to. And you know what? I appreciate that you've stepped into this role because not a lot of people would do it. You saw it was a problem and you want to make the solution. Um, for right now, what's the rest of 2025 looking like? And are we going to see this return next year, or is it too early to tell?
I mean, uh, it's too early on John's side to get the okay
Sure.
from him. I mean, on my side, this was gonna be kind of the first year. I know the card counts are gonna kind of be down a bit, but you gotta build a foundation before you can start building the house and growing on it, right? So I'm not giving up on it. Obviously still need the guys to come out and support the next three. I know this week there's gonna be a bunch of extra guys coming to test because of the Daco race the following week. So in John's mind, he just wants to see cars and people interested in it, right? And it's been good so far. I thought what the first two races went very well, and it's only gonna grow. So yeah, I'm not giving up on it unless John gets grumpy and shuts down on me, but it'll be back for sure next year
We're going to try and continue to push.
and bigger and better.
And that's exactly it. We want to try and continue to push and build it. That's only going to help the other divisions at other tracks. It's only going to help Dayco. When you have a strong foundation across the board, it is going to help everybody. Justin, I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to have you on the show tonight to talk about it. I want to thank you for all the work that you've been putting in. That is what we want to see. And I wanted to make sure that you got to come on and talk about it because, again, you've got a big event coming up this weekend. You've got double features. It is a stacked card at Flamborough Speedway. Lots of racing. You got Pro Challenge. You got the pure stocks out there. You got the mini stocks out there. It is going to be a very, very busy. And I think late models are there as well. So it is a very, very
Yep.
busy night. Justin, thank you so much. If anybody wants to get involved with Steel City Rumble Series, they can contact Justin Collison. If you don't know how to get in contact with him, you can contact me. I'll make sure that you find your way to Justin Collison. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining me tonight, buddy.
No, hey, thanks, Cam. Thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for doing what you guys are doing. Like honestly, we need you guys in this sport. The sport would die off real quick if we didn't have you guys doing publicity work for it and getting it bigger. You know what I mean? But no, thanks for having me on the show. I'm actually at a family gathering right now, so I'm gonna go back to eating some chicken Caesar salad. But thank you for having me on the show, and looking forward to seeing you at the races soon, buddy. You got to come up for one of these Steel City events.
We're going to be trying for this weekend, hopefully.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah.
Well,
So,
come down if you're there. Come down and see me.
oh, absolutely. I'm not going to miss that opportunity. All right. Thank you, Justin.
All right, thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. All right. So that's Justin Collison. What a great conversation, man. Doing a great job. out there. And you know what? We're going to bring on somebody else who had a great job this past weekend, getting herself into victory lane for the first time as a feature winner in at Flamborough Speedway. I can't say it's unexpected, Rachel, but it's been building this year. Rachel Mitchell joins us on ONTrack Weekly. Rachel, I imagine you are still on a major high after your first feature win. How is it feeling?
I think I'm kind of to like a stunned phase. Like it's not really crossing my mind, but then I'll see the trophy. I'm like, oh, I did that.
That's right. That's right. And you kind of have been on this trajectory over the last season. You ended your year last year with your second place finish, which was the best that you had had. And then it kind of this year you really kind of took off. I've posted, I believe, at least once that Ashley McMartin is freaking out in the comments that you're on the show. So Sean Gay says this was awesome to see Rachel's checkered flag. Yes, it was. Um, so what was the story this year? Because I don't think anything changed. It's the same car that you drove last year. So is it confidence or is it the MRC magic? Like what is it that's been the story for you?
I'd definitely say confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Ending my last year's season with the podium probably helped,
Mm-hmm.
but that entire year I was working on learning the car control. I made my debut in 2023, and I wouldn't even call that my rookie season because it was start at the back, stay
Yeah.
out of the way, finish the race. So last year was more my rookie season, and it threw a lot at me and taught me so much.
Well, and you guys do something that's very different from a lot of other racetracks. You guys race like 40 times a year, which is absolutely insane. But for somebody that was brand new, I think we're seeing, I mean, you and Mac Ingram as well. You guys both kind of started kind of towards the back last year and found your way to the both, the middle, and now you guys are both kind of I think he hasn't finished outside, I think he's one outside of the top 10s once in his starts this year. And then you've had, I think, just like last weekend, I think you had that one weird kind of weekend where it was just like nothing went right. And that's why I think it kind of threw me for a loop that you went out and had a feature win. And, it is, we got Rich Schwarzenberg congratulating you, Terry Dewey congratulating you. Um, it is, it's not an easy thing as a female in racing to get a feature win, but now you and your sister can say that you both have done it.
Yeah.
Yours is a little more recent. Megan's getting there too, but as a family, you you posted the celebration video between yourself and Megan. Uh, Emotion is obviously high in racing.
Oh, yeah.
Was this a better feeling than seeing the siblings win, or was this you kind of like seeing them win more? Obviously, I would think after all the time that you've been doing it, it probably felt pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Meg's told me multiple times that it's been a long time coming. So when she finished the start finish line and saw my number on the top of the board, she just lost it.
Yeah, it's great that I believe it was Jomo had the cameras on so we could actually hear you guys celebrating, which is I think Jomo needs to do that for every racer. Um, it uh, it was great. Yeah, Sean says you were throwing it in the corner. My dad says congrats. Nice to see the ladies making the grade. Absolutely. Um, it's been a steady progression, and last year it was a tough. Like, you had a lot of contact early in the season, and then Flamborough tends to have that. It seems to have a lot of contact, and you guys see each other every week in the pure stocks. Um, is it too much?
I think if we had a couple more weekends off throughout the
Hmm.
season, it would definitely help lower tension some weekends. It would give way more time to work on cars.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad's been battling his car for 3, 4 weeks now, and he's just not getting the time to actually fix it before we're racing again.
Yeah, you know what, I have to agree. I understand it's very admirable. And Nick Adamson says congratulations on your feature win. Um, it's absolutely admirable that you guys are out there as often as you are. I can't believe you do it, frankly. Um, I don't have the stamina to keep going, and your dad is out there, and he's got 4 cars that he's working on. Um, yeah, it used to be 1 week off a month there. Well, yeah, see, I like that, Rich. That's what they need to do. And all due respect to them, right? What do you find with the double features? How have you found that that works for you? Would you prefer to go to a heat method, or do you like having to be like, this is it, we're racing for points right away?
Um, I don't know, like some days it's up and down. Some days I like the double feature, and then other days it's the first feature's done and I'm like, okay, can we just double the payout, double the points because I'm exhausted.
Yeah, that's yeah, definitely, because you guys have to wheel it there, and wheel it all the time because you guys. The one thing that you guys in the pure stocks, you can't get away from anybody. You're always in traffic. You're always fighting somebody for a pass for the lead. I'm gonna try and pull it up while I'm trying to do the podcast because I like to do that type of crazy stuff and figure out what it was last year. I think it was. So I had last year Rachel Mitchell. You had it was a decent season. I think it was 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s all season long. And I think this year, it's already been a surpassing of that tenfold. Obviously, you have a feature win.
Yeah.
That's off the list now. Like you've done that.
I mean, we can leave it on the list though.
Yeah, we definitely can. We can definitely do that. And I think right now what I've got, yeah, here's the results. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6, not including this weekend's results. So that's 6 top 10s already. So you've already surpassed it all of last season,
Yeah.
and we're only 2 months in. What has it been other than the confidence? It can't be just that, right? Like, did you guys do something to the car? It's the same car, right?
The only major thing we've done to the cars is all of our cars, we pulled the engines and we did a timing chain kit on all of them.
Oh, interesting.
That's the only thing we've changed.
Well, I am a massive fan of yellow race cars. They always make me happy because I like bright race cars. They always, uh, you know, everybody kind of tends to do the same color schemes, and it gets a little bit boring. I love yellow; it's my favorite. Larry Jackson had a beautiful yellow car for the NASCAR Canada race this weekend. Rest of the season, obviously, you'd like to go out there get a couple more features. The inverts seem to really help. Um, when you were starting out, you didn't have the opportunity to do the inverts, right? You'd always start at the back. When you made that change, I imagine the stress level was probably a little bit high.
Very
How
much
are
so.
you how are you feeling now?
Last year, the first time I was told that I'm starting pole, I was so scared and calmly panicking in my car. And then I learned that, okay, if I start pole, I get to run away from everything. So the inversions do work out. If you finish at the back, then you do get the opportunity to run from it.
Hmm.
But I'm kind of learning now also that, all right, I'm getting better finishes. Now I'm starting mid to back of the pack.
A
So
little
I'm,
little more chaotic in there, right?
yeah, so I definitely need to learn running in the pack some more.
Yeah, I think and Rich mentions you can't improve the car racing that much. Basically, you just maintain the car with the schedule. That's yeah. Um, Almost looks like a punishment for a strong showing of cars that schedule. Yeah. Maintain at best, not a good balance of track time and off. Yeah, that's the thing. How much home life do you guys get to have if you're off the weekend racing every single weekend of the year? I think it's 2 weekends off this year. That's all you guys have, right?
It was reduced to one.
Oh, even Okay, so only one. Um, any thoughts of potentially doing some invitationals at a different track, or are you guys going to be home base? I asked Rachel, or asked you're Rachel. I asked Megan this last. You guys look like twins, so uh, um, so I asked Megan this. And she said maybe in the future, maybe you guys will go and travel somewhere. Is there a track that you'd like to try out?
I've told my dad that Sunset and Sable look the most appealing to me, and Delaware would be pretty cool, but I think that would be two major
Hmm.
changes to the card to figure out how to run that.
Yeah,
But with this season, it's not going to happen.
fair enough. But you know what? Based off of just the comments that we've had tonight, the amount of people that were so happy, so supportive that you were able to get in there in victory lane. I mean, the victories that you guys have had this year. Obviously, Chase is competing for the championship. Your dad got a podium this year. He's obviously he was pretty emotional in that victory lane interview. Well, French stretch, not victory lane, but the victory lane area.
Yes.
Um, Sunset, yeah, Calvin Reese just says Sunset's got lots of rooms, so your invitation is there. Um, and you know, I think it'd be cool to see the Mitchell clan. But the problem is they don't have any time to go out there, unfortunately. I like the tripod three wheel stand when they hook in the corners. Yeah, that's definitely fun. Rachel, you know we definitely support and love that you represent our podcast and do a great job for Ladies of the Oval. And thank you so much for being on the show tonight. And we're gonna go bug your fellow competitor Leo LaBarbera and chat with him. So thank you so much, Rachel, for coming on, and the best of luck for the rest of this year.
Thank you.
All right, that is Rachel Mitchell out from Flamborough Speedway in their bone stock division. We got to bring in Superfly himself, Leo LaBarbera, coming on the show. First time that I've actually got to have Leo on the podcast, and so it's exciting to just make sure I change up the name so it doesn't say that he's Rachel Mitchell anymore. But Leo LaBarbera is here on the show. Leo's out there weekly with his two actual. He's got two cars on the regular, the 42 and the 42K with Teagan Ellis. Superfly, how are we doing tonight?
Not too bad, Cam. How are you, man?
Oh man, I'm excited to have you. It is one of the most requested names that we have is for people to have Superfly on the show, and anybody
Ah, come
that's
on.
oh no, I'm serious. Anybody that's it's not Superfly Jimmy Snuka, it's Superfly Leo LaBarbera. How's it been going this year, buddy? It started off a little crazy.
Um,
I'm glad you made it past that.
yeah,
But
we had an interesting start to the year. Built a brand new car, came out, tested it out, really tested it out, and then had to rebuild it. So, lucky to have a backup car, and then also have like you said, we had Tegan out in the other car. So lucky to have a. Well, last weekend we had all three cars on the track. Not 2 weekends ago for Meet the Driver night. So it's been a good year. Like I take the good with the bad. So
absolutely, and you got to see some, which is I imagine as a team owner, it's got to be so cool to see Tegan go out there. She led some laps. She had her best race, I think, in maybe
she
ever.
yeah, I mean she was beating my lap times. I mean she's becoming quite the competitor out there. I myself have a hard time passing her some nights. So we're having a great time out there as a team. I like to believe.
Why make a team effort this year and not have a single car program?
Um, I like to get as many people out, especially in the pure stock division, as possible. I happen to have the car sitting there. I know she can drive. She's been doing it for, I think, almost longer than I have. So we were talking, and she took it out a couple times last year, and she said she wanted to make it a full season this year. So I said, "Yep, let's go."
Well, and you're a former champion out at Flamborough Speedway, and you know this division very well.
I'd like to say so, yeah.
Yeah, I tend to, and I say it quite routinely. I think it's the best pure stock division, bone stock division in the province, bar none. I think you guys have the most exciting format. I think the inverts are brilliant. I think that you guys, for the most part, you get testy every week. That just adds to the excitement.
Tempers sometimes run high, absolutely.
Sometimes it is a little bit extra. I think it gets a little bit too intense out there, but it also seems that comes with the competitive nature of that division, and that you guys all really really want this. How have you found it out there this year as a team owner who has to work on these cars after
Um,
each weekend?
it was a little hard at first. There was a lot of damage going around, a lot of cars getting wrecked, but I think it was just everyone just being that competitive. I mean, it really pushes us to just be the best we can out there, and sometimes you get a little carried away, and accidents happen. Just rebuild, keep a smile on your face, and just kind of keep going. That's all you can really do.
It's very true. Rich says you need the leopard print fire suit with with matching numbers. I agree. That's pretty stout. Um, you've been out there every week. Uh, you get to see the talent that is in that division right now. Pretty good all around,
Yeah, we definitely have some talented group out there.
very much. Who is it that Leo LaBarbera thinks is underrated in this division right now?
I mean, we had so many good drivers out there. A lot of people that came out last year came out for their first time, second time, but this year, like everybody's kind of on their toes. I mean, there's not one in that top 10, even 15 cars when we show up at night. I mean, everybody's out there working hard, working together, and it's literally anyone's game, especially with the inversion now. So, I mean, anybody can be out there. So it's hard to put a name on it, but we're all coming through pretty good.
So, after all these years, why not move to mini stock?
I dabbled in it once,
Mhm.
twice. Wasn't really a big fan of it. Just kind of didn't want to go that much further and build the car that much. Like it just wasn't that didn't seem that fun to me. Like
Mhm.
it's you that'd be more of a traveling area. Like I'd like to eventually build one, but uh I'm a big Cobalt fan, and I've seen how hard you'd have to put a Cobalt together to be competitive out there. So I kind of stayed at the pure stock level, but I'd like to travel and try mini stocks maybe on the dirt, build something up like that. They're pretty close. Um, just I can't get away from running for points. It seems to be my problem.
And so, why is that? Is it just the competitive nature of yourself?
Kind of, yeah. I've always wanted to see another championship, but I mean, it's a tough division now.
What was it? Was it like that when you got started, or has it gotten better?
um, when I first started, I mean, we would it was nothing compared to now. Like between safety and all the things we can do, kind of to our cars to help out, maintain like keep them running every weekend. Like we used to smash up cars every other weekend, come back out the next weekend with another car, and it was nothing. Strip it, throw a little cage in it, and come back out. Like the first year, I can't even count how many cars we went through. Now we kind of want to keep them a little bit longer and go
Yeah, yeah, I
full
think
season out
so.
of one car is nice.
How'd you get to be known as Superfly?
Um, last year we had a miscalculation and drove over top of Wade Thorne, had the car up in the air, and came back down not as softly as I wished, but kind of an interesting night. But it was definitely fun, and Rich definitely thought the name suited me.
I think it does. I'm all for wrestling nicknames in motorsports. I think it's so much fun because then we can just play the Snooka theme every time that you're on track, man. That's That's the way to do it, and you got to strike the pose and everything. He was
That's right.
born to do the Superfly slide. That's right, he was.
That's right. Yeah, it's there's a couple pictures about me going sideways out there
Yeah,
a
you've
couple
been
different times.
doing the slideways quite a bit. You know, that's always great, and it's awesome that you're staying into the division that means a lot to you. And uh, you know, selfishly, I don't get to see you, and I would prefer to be able to see you a bit more because you're out at Flamborough Speedway and don't make it out there as often as I'd like to. Although we're gonna try this weekend. We're
Awesome.
hopefully gonna be out there. But would there be a possibility of seeing a Leo LaBarbera run a Sunset Speedway or a Delaware Speedway or a Full Throttle if you ever get some time off?
Definitely. I really wanted to go out yesterday, but by the time the guys were getting home, I was already getting up and going to work. So it would have been a pretty long day to do it. But we definitely make the effort to make sure we're at colors. Been there for the last 3 years, so that's
Mhm.
always on our list. But I would definitely like to go and try some other tracks for sure.
I know that a lot of people want to have you out there, and you part of the Stickers and Scuffs family this year, which has been awesome. Both you and Tegan repping us every week, and you know, Leo's always somebody that we want to make sure we have time for, and we want to have time for him on this show in the future because this was awesome. I really I wish we had gotten you on a little earlier in you know before the season started, but you know you're coming back, Superfly. That's what we
Anytime,
do
buddy.
here.
Anytime.
All
Happy to be
right,
here, man.
that's Leo LaBarbera. You can catch him this weekend out at Flamborough Speedway, part of the Pure Stock division. Ashley McMartin says we welcome you at Colors, of course, of course.
Absolutely. All right.
Just don't run into the 16 car, okay?
Yeah,
Because I don't know how that's gonna go over.
that'd be a hard explanation in the pits later on.
Absolutely. But thank you, Leo. Have yourself a great night, buddy, and hope to see you this
You
weekend.
too, man. Thanks for having me, man. Have a good night.
All right, that is Leo LaBarbera from the Pure Stock division out at Flamborough Speedway. One of the best guys out in racing, and somebody else we're going to bring on who I tend to be a fan of. I think other people are a fan of him too, and he's got the scenic look tonight. As if he couldn't get any prettier. My name stuff that I put out here isn't working yet. Just a second. We'll make sure we get the name up there for Jacob Sutcliffe, winner this weekend. This past weekend, once again at Sunset Speedway. The one thing that you had said to me after the Lincoln finished was that you just wanted to beat Doug Butler. Well, you finally did it, man. And how were you able to do it this time?
Dude, it was so hard. We went back. I thought we had a really, really good piece for the Lankin. And we came out and we were just not enough for Doug. I was the bridesmaid watching him in victory lane for 3 times, and me and Dad were sitting in the trailer just puzzled after because we'd figured with and like the whole crew as well, just with all the work we'd done in the off season that we would have enough for Doug finally. And no, he sent us back to the drawing board, and I mean, we were digging all week, the last couple weeks, and then at the track, I mean, we went out. We set a really quick time in the first practice, and I said to Dad, and the guys, I said, I think it can just be a little bit better. So we tried something for the second practice, and tried something going to the heat, and I mean, even riders hauling mail out there, and Wyatt's hauling mail. So everybody that seems to be racing at that track this year is keep me on my toes, and it's fun to get pushed to be better every week, and it's a lot of fun to improve the car. And me and Dad were talking on the way home, and I said to him, like, it's awesome racing. I said, but it's so much fun to drive and find just that little bit more in the car. And I mean, it was a ton, the most fun I've ever had racing that car against Doug side by side. I think we figured out that for 15 laps we were side by side. Just I'd take it, he'd take it. I'd take it, he'd take it. It was so
Did
much
you
fun.
keep our sticker safe or did you make some dents on it?
I didn't
Because
see.
I may have proof that somebody's been putting dents into our sticker on the back of Doug's car.
I gotta let you know, I really and truly didn't mean to. I hit the brakes just a tad too late. And then I seen the sticker and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a long conversation with Kim. And I felt bad too, because me and Doug, I think we've touched maybe twice, and both, every time it's accidental. We run each other really hard and really clean, and we have a ton of fun racing each other. And I was on my way into tech and I pulled over and I apologized to him, and he's like, what are you sorry for? That was so much fun. Like, that was so,
No, you were
it was-
sorry because you had to explain it to me. That's why.
that
But
might have been part of it too.
yeah, you guys have a new competitor for the championship this year, and
Yeah.
that's Ryder White, man. That kid has been on fire to start this year. You raced with him the last couple of years. What is different about his racecraft?
I Every year he's always impressed me. Every time he's been on the track, he's impressed me. I mean, there was a race midway through last year. It was the 1,000 to win for the Bone Sox, and Ryder was out in front of me, and like I was slowly getting to him, but tracking him down, and he was so hard to pass, and I always, ever since he came into a mini stock, you always knew he was going to be really good. And um, I mean, I think it's just like all of us, just seat time, and he seems way more comfortable in the car this year. And I mean, his dad and his sister are awesome too. His grandpa, everybody that comes out and supports him, they're all, really nice people and tons of fun to hang out with. So, yeah, but I mean, he's really, he's definitely turning heads. But I hate to be the one to say I saw it coming, but I mean, he's always been one that I've kept my eye on. So.
Well, and you know what? Gordon makes a point here. He says the way you guys race are what racing is supposed to be. And you know what? It really, I feel like that has been the case for the mini stocks the last couple of years, really, is that for the most part, you guys aren't wadding up a bunch of cars unless maybe there's a mechanical problem like what we saw with Charlie and Madison a couple weeks ago, where like that wouldn't happen without that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
there's been some incidental contact, obviously, and you got some newer guys coming in and racing it, but it's first off, you're making Matt Bray's life a lot easier because he doesn't have to throw the caution every 2 minutes.
yeah.
And it was a problem a couple of years ago. I mean, when we first started following the mini stocks, I think there was there was a race that it took, I believe the total time was 1 hour and 10 minutes for you guys to get it together. And that hasn't been the case this year. You guys have been able to get through a lot of great racing. The veterans are leading. You guys are leading. You've got the young kids coming in. Your brother's out there. He's succeeding right with Ryder. You guys had probably the best start to a season, and you didn't even get to win. As a collective group, you guys have got to be feeling that this is the best you guys have ever been.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, me and Wyatt, we're working really hard. I think we're adjusting really well as we go throughout the nights, and we're trying things. We had a really good car last year, and over the winter, we also, as a group of guys, we sat down and we're like, if we stay dormant, we're not going to be where we are now. So we went to work again, and we tried some things, and they seem to be working out so far. And I mean, I'm really happy for my brother and the success he's having. And um, I beat him in the heat race this weekend, and we got out. And every time that we've gotten close like that, I've had him by a little bit of time, and he was faster than me time wise after the heat race. And he's, shows his phone. He's like, "I'm coming for you tonight. I'm coming." Like, your mindset. Holy smokes, here we go again. But yeah, it's just been a hoot. I mean, as a collective group of guys, we're having a lot of fun. And I think Dale told us a couple of years ago at Fall Velocity, he said, we're driving race cars, and if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And I think we've kind of followed that philosophy since then. And the success helps, and it's a lot of fun to be successful. But as a group of guys, we're always laughing, we're carrying on, we're having a good time. And it's hard to see us with a smile on our face. And we're definitely having a lot of fun, and it's helping. I think it's helping in the long run.
I mean, I've been doing some research into previous champions out at Sunset Speedway, and I looked a little bit back, and there's some history there. Obviously, you and your dad are both champions. Do you foresee that little brother has it in him to go out and get another a third championship for you guys, or is it going to be more you that's going to go out and do it this year? We'll say this year right now, and then obviously he's a little bit newer to racing than you are, right? You started before him just a little bit.
No, so our first year when we bought the car from Alan, we swapped back and forth throughout nights, and then there was a night where we had a little bit of a motor issue, and then we fixed it. You know, we did a ton of work, and we came back the next week, and I sent a couple sent her to the moon, and I think it's honestly one of my favorite stories. I blew it up going down the backstretch at sunset, and I came around and I thought I'd blown the right front tire off of it. And I get around to the flagman, he comes down and I said, "Man, how bad is it? Like, you know, how bad is it?" And he's like, "How bad is what?" And I think he was mad because I poured oil over the track. And I was like, "How bad's the tire in the fender?" And he wraps his finger on the exhaust and he goes, "I think your night's done tonight." And that was pretty much our year that year. And but I mean, I might have maybe a race or two on him. But I have 6 years of age on him and 6 years of actual street driving, which we talk about quite a bit,
Mhm.
which I think definitely helps. And but yeah, pretty similar start time in actual stock car racing and doing short track stuff.
Does he have that championship pedigree that you have in you, or is he just ready right now to one up you?
I think he has it in him. I mean, he's put together with the the obvious misstep of this weekend. He hasn't been outside the top 5. He's run really well. His line's really smooth. He's fast. He's good. He's a royal pain in my butt to pass. And I think everybody at Sunset feels that. I mean, he runs a good line. He runs tight. Yeah, he's really comfortable in the car this year, I think. So, as much as it scares me to say, yeah, I think he has it in him. I'm not going to go ahead and tell you this year because I'd be, I'd be happy for him, but I'd like it again this year. It's just selfish of me, but I really am looking forward to battling with him for it and having some more fun this year. Yeah, he's to make a long comment short. Yeah, he's got it in him.
It's always nice to see the mini stock division at Sunset. As we talked about it in every class, I always talk about it. Every show, I always talk about how much I love the mini stocks. And we actually just had Coleridge Finnemore taping for this week's episode of Stickers and Scuffs, and there's some history there that we didn't know between the Finnemores and the Sutcliffes. And I mean, to have someone that you met outside of racing and then race them, and things didn't really go well at the start of last year between you guys. And now he said, you guys, it's just he said it's an absolute blast to race with you guys. And I wonder if you go back and say, do NHL players talk about having a blast playing against each other? Not normally,
No.
right? So what is it about the mini stocks and really the racing in general that you find that is that brings you guys all together? Is it? I'd love to know.
I think we all have a ton of respect for each other. And I would say the one that you were talking about where it took us an hour and 10 minutes for that
Yes.
to complete, I'm pretty sure you might be talking about my actual first feature win, which was Spring Velocity of 2023.
Yes, that's exactly the
Yeah.
one. Yep.
Yeah. So I ended up winning that race. I started 16th and I had led the last 6 or 7 cars to the finish. And I think after that night, maybe subconsciously or we just started to realize how expensive equipment is. And, we're having a ton of fun racing each other hard and clean. There's, so much respect between everybody. I mean, I have an absolute ton of fun racing with Coleridge. Like you said, we've known each other since we were kids. I used to go watch him dirt bike race, when we had a trailer in King Carden. Like it was, just an absolute hoot. And it's crazy how small the world is. But yeah, like it's so much fun. We have a ton of respect for each other. I mean, but I think it stems from the leadership of guys like Doug Butler and Sean Taylor and your Nolan Gould and your Ryan Babbins, who you can look back on and they're clean racers. They have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They run each other. Obviously everybody bumps and bangs, and there's incidences that are going to occur when you're going the speeds we are. But yeah, I think it stems from the leadership of maybe the veteran class of the mini stock division, especially from what I can see, and just the respect that I think that they show each other. We try and follow suit as up and coming drivers now. I mean, I think that that would be my answer to that one.
You have a little bit of a different win column this year because you're a winner at Sunset, but you've also won at Flamborough Speedway, and you almost won at Peterborough.
Yeah,
A great start to the year for you.
yeah.
I've got a comment of the hack, Jacob Sutcliffe, from Brad Lavelle, and Ashley made a big comment that you were on time, and Brad says it's because your girlfriend must have had your stuff ready.
I think it might have been the cancellation of baseball that helped, but we were definitely on a schedule, and I felt awfully poor about the last time I was late, and I was hearing it earlier, which was definitely a good reminder to be on time. So
Yeah, I love that again, camaraderie doesn't have to be just at one track.
yeah,
I mean, you've got Brad Laval out at Peterborough making these remarks out there. I'd like to see you guys do a straight up once again. I mean, he tends to do. I believe he did ACC last year in the minis, so we need to see a Brad Laval versus Jacob Sutcliffe again. That would be fun. Ashley says, Jacob, thanks for being such an amazing guy, both off and on the track. And
thank you.
I second that because it's enough that you guys are great racers, but the fact that you'll talk to us after you have a really shitty night is remarkable. And I remember that first night that we kind of witnessed that you were going for the win, and it didn't go out very well, obviously, between Coleridge and all you, and you didn't bash, you didn't talk crap about him, you didn't say anything about the person that he was, you didn't say anything about it. Where so many guys and gals get so angry,
Yeah,
so
you
mad, so
yeah.
mad.
I think one of the biggest life lessons, if I could speak on that, and I want to thank you and Ashley for that. That's a huge compliment, and I really do appreciate that. But one of the biggest life lessons I've ever learned from one of my biggest mentors in life, my mom, is that the glass is always half full. That was maybe not my best night, wasn't my happiest moment, but um, you step away, you have your 5 minutes of anger, and then you step away and you're like, you know what? Gold is a great guy. He's a great
Yeah,
competitor. We're both fiercely going for the first one of the year. I mean, for both of us, our dads have the history with Steve Slaughter, and like there's a lot of stuff going through our emotions, and there's no need to bash anybody. We're all out there having fun. We're racing stock cars, and um, I don't see the need to be, a ton negative towards anybody. I think there's more positive in resolving issues with your words instead of, cussing a guy out and telling him he's a meathead and, to go and, drive your car into a wall. There's no need to do that, right? I mean, I think that it's just a ton of fun to race stock cars, and the glass is always half full. It's never half empty.
Oh, this is why I love live shows. Kaylin Brown says it was definitely me.
It might have been Honey. It definitely was you.
Kathy says I can vouch for the fact it was definitely his girlfriend. So Ash says, oh, come on. You just make me adore you more. Seriously, can we duplicate you? Such growth and maturity. You should hear when he talks to Blaze Shaw, though. That maturity goes out the window.
It might fly away then, but I miss Blake, and I can't wait to see him this weekend. I mean, we've been missing the Shaws. They're doing their APC thing. They're kicking butt and taking names and doing that. And I want to express how awesome it is to see, a home chassis builder do their thing and do well at that. It's super cool. I mean, we were a part of the deal that they did at Sunset, and that was awesome for Dale to have runner up, and for him to have such a good run going at Delaware and for that to get, taken away was heartbreaking to watch the next day. But, we miss them and we have a ton of fun with them and a ton of fun with our guys and just everybody comes to racetrack. It's
already had your pizza this year, man. You've already done great stuff with your dominoes, and you've already put yourself into victory lane. I believe this might be win number 2 or 3 this year. Might be
Win
3.
number 2, win number 2 it's Sunset, but 3
3
overall.
overall. Yeah. And you're in that championship battle with Ryder White, with McGlashan, although this week went a little bit haywire. Wyatt obviously is in that championship battle. Coleridge is in that championship battle. Like literally, there's a shit ton of people who can go out and win the championship, but we know that you're going to compete for it. The plans, are they still going to be going to Delaware to do the big mini stock invitational?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plan is to go to Delaware. We don't have a backup motor built yet, and from what we understand about the Jukasa deal was that some guys overheated. It's August, so we're a little bit worried about overheating, and again, running for points, our points races on the Sundays. So we're working on building a backup motor so that we have that plan in place in case either me or Wyatt, has an unfortunate mishap at Delaware. But that's the plan. I'm super excited for that race, and thanks to Randy and Doug and Susie and Sean, everybody who made that deal possible. I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited to see who shows up and who comes out to Delaware, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, that's the plan. And then Sunset. One of my best friends is getting married this year, so unfortunately, our 2 off weekends are the 2 weekends that he chose for his bachelor party and then to get married. So the weekends are not Sunset until the end of August. We'll be taken up with that, but then after that, we might travel the weekend in between. In the September, we have 1 weekend off before championship night, I think. So we might travel then, and then obviously the 3 playoff races will be out and about. So.
And you haven't got one of those yet, so it's
know.
definitely going to be up there. It's going to be up there. I know you definitely want to get in there. Ashton McMartin says, I've been a part of these conversations that you have between Blaze and her sides are killing me after those conversations. Yeah, it's normally a lot of fun. And then you have Brad Laval says he loves that Kathy commented that it was your girlfriend. And we'll end it with Gord's comment of all the tracks need more Jacobs. So
thanks, Gord. I really appreciate
that's all about personality and what you bring to it. I always love that we can always have a good laugh at the racetrack, and you're always down to shoot the shit, and that's exactly what we need. We need personalities in motorsports more than just cars on the track.
Yeah.
We need people to chat with us and to have a good representation of the brands that they rep on their car, and you definitely have S&S on there, and we're proud that you've been a part of that. And best of luck for the rest of the season, my friend, because it could be a championship number 2 if things continue this way.
My fingers are crossed. I hope so. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on the show, and hopefully we'll chat soon.
Yeah, we don't want the bugs to come out and start eating you alive because it looks dark out there. Maybe I'll let you suffer like I did at Peterborough this weekend. But with that, we're going to wrap up the show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to ONTrack Weekly, and we'll catch you all next week.